Oh, here we are again now, and it's like no time has passed. Gazing out upon the sunset as it sinks into the night. Many times it seemed as though a given day might be our last. Face to face with certain death, it's somehow coming out alright. I don't think that we have any cause to lament, but there's quite a lot of thrilling intent, thrilling intent, thrilling intent, thrilling intent.
All that concern that's coiled like a spring loosen, and he puts the potion back. Your words have gotten through to him. He's calm. Well,
okay.
That's an exaggeration.
Yeah.
He's not gonna throw hands.
He's cooperative.
He's cooperative, yeah, is the operative word.
I think that it might be possible for you to communicate with Mercy from a slight distance away, perhaps using your voices only. I think it's the safest way to do this. I also think that the best way to ensure that you are not personally the threat that I have reason to suspect they consider you right now is to disseminate your knowledge and your tactics to as many people in this camp as possible in as little time as possible. If everybody knows exactly how to do whatever it is you found out how to do, then I'm not sure if it would make you any less of a threat, but it would make you less of a central threat.
God. Freya's emotions as a dude are fighting each other because, like, Freya's a complicated man, and by that I mean there are two sides to him that are constantly at war with each other, but they both love Mercy. So, like, right now you see the loving husband and kind of a goober being like, yeah, this makes a lot of, but I want to be here, I want to be useful. And then the other half of him, which is cold and uncaring alchemist, asterisk, except Mercy and the kids, who is like, yes, this is a wise course of action, well thought out, I'm glad you have a cool head. And they're beating the shit out of each other in there. So
I put like an empathetic hand on Freya's shoulder.
Okay.
I am so sorry for all of this.
He shakes his head. He shakes his head. Your empathy disgusts him, and therefore the alchemist wins.
Holy shit!
No, you have the clearer mind about this. I apologize for my explosiveness. Tell me what I can do to assist.
Freya, don't apologize. Anybody in your circumstance would react the same way. But here, let's try this. Markus reaches behind him to touch the shadow wall and grabs a dollop of it and pulls it into a long, thin, snaking cord that ends in a speaking horn. Here, I want you to take this.
He takes it very seriously. This is the goofiest image for a very serious situation.
It's so fucking dumb, but it's the only thing I can think of doing it.
This is thrilling intent, baby!
Now, I'm going to go to the other side of this wall. I'm going to make another end to that speaking tube, and I am going to give it to your wife.
He just nods and then says, thank you.
Now, I want you to... Ideally, I would have you in another building entirely, but for now, just don't let on that you are extremely close by if you can help it, please.
He nods. Wise.
And
very wise.
If at any point I give the emergency signal, I need you to flee as though your life depends on it to the nearest secure location.
He exhales.
The emergency signal is tapioca.
Freya slaps you.
Okay, yes, point taken. The emergency signal is me yelling "run" frantically. Better?
He nods.
All right.
Marcus, I want to say that you're a hero for doing all of this.
I just don't want Mercy to, like, potentially have to kill her husband in front of their children.
That'd be pretty fucked up. You're a hero for doing this, and you're dealing with a very unreasonable man. I'm sorry for slapping you. He totally slapped you, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, fuck. Marcus probably deserved it. Look, okay, just wait here, one moment. Marcus goes back over here, kind of phasing through the wall, grabs a chair, pulls it over. Here you go.
He sits down in the chair.
And I'm gonna go and sort out the rest of this. He
You're
phases
setting
through
up
the
like
wall again. What?
You're setting this up like a fucking prison visitation.
I mean, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. Marcus makes another fucking, like, speaking horn with a long cord and pulls it over here.
So I don't really understand why it's such a big deal about him. Like, I'm just as much of a threat to the tower, right? And she didn't attack me. I'm more of a threat because I don't even need science to destroy it.
Hey, let's talk about it over here.
Yeah, no, let's maybe not. Thank you, Dad. Thanks.
No, he
Mercy.
doesn't. He can't drag you away, so instead he just starts going, so Mercy can't hear, la 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 la, loudly.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Gregor, let's stop talking for now because there's a very important phone call that's about to happen.
Is that what that is?
Mercy, let's set you up way over here across the room. You can just sit yourself down right here. He slaps this anvil.
All right, girls, why don't you go find Dad, all right? This will just be a minute. Actually, I'll see you later. And the two girls look at one another, and they are about to take a step forward. And Mercy, mother instincts, she stops for a moment and is about to look over her shoulders, and both girls immediately stand up straight, and they walk away, but you see that they look pretty dejected.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a thing here.
Fuck.
Stop at the wall.
Yes, one moment. Here, if you'll follow me. Marcus escorts them through the shadow wall. I'm very sorry, girls, but I have to wait for you to... I have to ask for you to wait outside, all right?
Oh. Okay.
Your parents need a little bit of privacy.
Oh, that again.
Yeah, I know. It's real gross. Okay, all right. Almost ready. Marcus goes back through again, comes over here, and hands Mercy the other end of the fucking shadow tin can phone.
You hear a rather feeble voice for the fury and the fervor that you heard before. It's just like, darling,
Dear.
Marcus steps back to give them a little bit of privacy, but is keeping a close eye on Mercy the whole time.
I feel he's about to ask a dozen questions. How are you doing? Are you doing okay? Is there anything I could do to help? And then he decides to settle on, what can I do for you?
Well, you could, if you know this, fantastic. If not, not a concern. As you've probably guessed, and she actually, like, grips her chest.
Nah.
I can't go into detail, but one of the reasons I love you so much is you're so damn smart, so I'm sure you've figured it out. I have considered having Gregor cut the tether that I have. What do you think that would do? Your best guess.
Okay, here we go. This is just going to be a fucking raw luck roll. He exhales and is like, that is... If what we were supposing earlier is correct, that is a connection to the heavens above. Cutting it would... I'm not entirely sure, but I believe it has something to do with the effectiveness or the efficacy of oaths to begin with. I think... He sort of scratches his forehead. This is silly. Do you mind if I share a fairy tale with you?
I would love that.
He sort of smiles and starts tapping his foot. In ages past in Tannhauser, apparently, a great white ship touched down on our shores. It was full of resplendent and beautiful individuals who, well, if I'm being fully honest, you're the spitting image of someone straight out of that legend. They had brilliant hair of flame, eyes that you could see the stars in. He starts to get caught up in it, and honestly, a little bit of the deep sadness of the moment starts to eke in. They were gorgeous in an unearthly way. And, as they traveled this land, they granted gifts to the people here. They said, take this magic sword, but only on the condition that you do good with it. And should you ever do evil, it will come back and strike you down. For that is the form of our justice. He sort of exhales and shakes his head. It's, said that from the blood of these creatures, ASMR were created. And, from them, they have become the only truly just things in the world, for their lives are only guaranteed so long as they carry a justice in their hearts. If you have some sort of tie to the other side, if you're tied to some sort of grand being on high, I believe cutting that tie might preclude you from God's sight, his judgment. He sort of exhales. Were it me, were it my life, I think you know I'd take the risk. I don't know if that's a gamble I'm willing to take with yours.
Oh, boy. So it's a coin flip. Not really sure what would happen.
There's silence on the other side, an affirmative silence.
You know, it's a weird time to bring it up, but do you know the reason that I actually fell for you?
He, alchemist side is out.
Mercy picks that up without even seeing or hearing him. She's like, trust me, it gets to a point.
No, he was about to go. My stunning good looks and the fact that I can effectively balance a checkbook very, very efficiently.
Well, the first one I didn't immediately acknowledge, and the second one I learned to appreciate.
I love them. Holy shit.
Mercy just has a small smile. You know, as I grew up, you know, my parents, well, when they did venture to even spend any amount of time with us before all that, but anyways, I have been raised to believe I was going to partner up with someone big, brave, and strong, someone like me. You know, we dive into the center of combat and God, we'd be hot and we'd just and we would just absolutely decimate the enemy, and we would be showered in praise for our incredible deeds and just glory because of how magnificent we were to be heroes. And then I met you, and I realized my perception of heroism was the vain side, the pride, the narcissism, enjoying grandiose parties and parades, celebrate our grandeur and all that. And I tried to flex that on you more than once. And
he clears his throat on the other side like, oh.
And I tried to flex that on you more than once, and you didn't give a damn. And I'll be real, I got real mad. And so I tried more and more to show off just how tough and brave I was. There was plenty of times you might drop something. I'm like, oh, is it behind this stone table? Oh, how heavy was that? Not a problem for me. And you didn't care. And then I would overhear conversations with other alchemists of how you had developed many of the tools and resources that had actually kept my soldiers safe, yet you never brought it up once. You'd been a bigger savior than I'd ever been, and you didn't care. It didn't even cross your mind. It was simply, and she looks at her gauntlets, to help someone else.
It's funny. You hear a click of recognition on the other side of the room. It's It's funny, you thought he ran out of this noise. You thought, after being married for a bit, that you'd managed to convince him of all the ways that he was good because he so frequently wouldn't see them in himself. But in this moment, you hear that click once more. It was like when you first started dating, I guess you're right.
And to be perfectly honest, there was a little bit there where I was incredibly jealous of you. How could someone do all these amazing things and just not care? And I realized it wasn't that you didn't care. In fact, you cared a lot. But you understood where your heart should be, and I didn't. And I was a narcissist. I was honestly a pretty terrible person. And I stayed up at night time and time again thinking, why? Why is he like that? And that's when I started crushing on you because I wanted to learn more. I wanted to figure you out because I knew you'd figured me out. It wasn't very complicated.
He goes quiet for a second. Similarly, you also know how to read this emotion. This is the for real, I was kind of dense and oblivious at the time. I'm glad you think so. Emotion like that. Oh, thank God I got away with that. I was just stupid.
And Mercy then adds on. I mean, at first I was trying so hard to get your attention to maybe be something more outside of our interactions in laboratories and on the field for military operations. You have any idea how many very low tops I wore and just nothing? And eventually, finally, I said that I wanted to be with you, and I never really specified why. I'm sure it was definitely because, yes, you're very handsome, you're right. And eventually, yes, the accounting, very impressive. And obviously all the things that you've done for me, like my hands. But really, the real reason is you were a hero. Like I'd always wanted to fall in love with, and I realized I wanted that part of heroism. The real heroism. So, I'm going to once again put all my faith in my hero.
Oh, there's silence on the other side of the phone. Mercy, what's the call?
Mercy looks over to Gregor. You give me a hand.